Okay, so as I told you, the today's discussion topic is chain on sloping grounds, right? In the chain survey, and the basic thing that you know in the chain survey, that we have to take only the linear measurement, or we have to measure the horizontal distances, right? So we have to measure the horizontal distance on the sloping ground also here, and we have to take certain methods, right, or any convenient method to find the horizontal distances between two stations on slope itself. So generally, when we talking about the chaining on the sloping ground, what does it mean? It means here we have to measure the horizontal equivalent of sloping length. Is it clear? Try to understand that it is sloping ground and we have to take the measurements. So as we all know that in the chain survey we have to take only the horizontal distances, so we have to measure this distance, which should be the horizontal equivalent of sloping ground. So there are certain methods that has to be employed here to chaining on the sloping ground, right? I hope the thing is clear, the concept or the basic aspect has been clear. What we have to do here, is it so? Right, so let's move towards the method. But so here there is something also we need to understand related to that. As you just read on the slide itself, as I told you, horizontal distance is required, and there is one parameter has in there. If the slope of the country means any kind of space or something is 3 degree, then it is level ground, right? It means if the slope is more than 3 degree, then you have to consider it as a sloping ground. Have you get that? So you have to keep in mind this 3 degree aspect. If the slope is up to 3 degree, then it is generally taken as a level ground, but if it is more than 3 degree, then you have to consider that that as a slope, and then you have to work as per the method that has been applying for chaining towards the sloping ground, right? So so we should discuss this method here. So there are two methods, direct method or stepping method. This direct method is also called a stepping method, and there is one indirect method. So there is two method that has been employed here. One is direct method, or as I told you, stepping method, and the second is indirect method. So one by one we need to understand that, right? So let's go to some information for the direct method first. So direct method is there, so there is something that we need to understand first here, where you can apply it. So we can apply this method when the surface of earth is extremely steep, right? It means it is something like that, it is extremely steep, then we can use the direct method. And how the things has to be done there, here sloping ground is split into a number of horizontal and vertical strips. Number of horizontal and vertical strips means like that, right? If it is a sloping ground, then we are converting into something like that, right? Horizontal and vertical, horizontal and vertical, horizontal and vertical. So it seems or it look like a step, so that's why it is also called a stepping method, right? Is it clear? And we have to measure this horizontal distance, right? Only this horizontal distance has to be measured here, and by summing up all this horizontal distance we can have a measurement of horizontal equivalent of sloping length. And here one more thing that is required there, that step might not be uniform. It means as per the slope, maybe the first step may be more lengthier than the second step, so it is not necessary that all these steps should be equal, right? So you have to keep this thing in mind while doing the or while applying the direct method. So again I am repeating, right, so that you can understand. All of you listen carefully again. Let me have image also. So just look at the image here. So this is sloping ground. So first, where we can use the direct method, if the slope is steep, or you can say the extremely steep. And how the application part of this stepping or direct method. So here we have to split the sloping ground into this number of horizontal and vertical strips like steps, right? It is horizontal, it is vertical, it is horizontal, it is vertical, it is horizontal, it is vertical. So it seems like a step. So that's why this direct method is also called stepping method, right? So have you understand the basics? Then I will like to discuss you how to do that, this method. I hope the basic things in your mind. Now how we can apply, right? Now you all try to understand how we can apply it. Clear? So either we can use the chain, or if you have a measuring tape, we can use the measuring tape also there, right? So just look at the slide itself. Let me explain you how the things can be done there. It is sloping ground. We have to start from the top, not from the base, right? We are starting from here. So the zero end, see, if you have either the measuring tape or if it is a chain, there is one zero end. It means from here you have to start, right? And then one person has to carry the other end and he has to move forward, right? So the person who is supposed to there at the zero end is known as follower. Try to understand that, right? If it is a chain or is a tape, so this is zero end, it means from here we have to start, and the other person has to stretch the chain as per the length that is required. So two person is there. So the person at zero end is called follower. Is it okay? And who is supposed to carry the other end of the tape or chain is known as leader. Known as leader. Is it clear? So now how the things has to be done there. So there is zero end, and here follower has to hold the zero end. Now the leader has to stretch the chain or tape as per his height. He are not supposed to do more than his height, otherwise there one kind of kink will be there. If this kind of things will be there, so again there is no linear measurement. So generally the leader, it means the person who has to stretch the chain or the tape, he has to use his own height, and then you have to stretch the chain accordingly. Then for example this is the point, and this length can be selected by leader as per his, her or her own convenience. It is not necessary what should be the length of this, as per the slope, as per the convenience, as per the height of the leader, the length can be selected. Is it okay? And when the things has been done there, so zero in, follower is sitting over here by holding the zero in. Now leader is moving forward and using his height he is stretching the chain, and for example he is reached up to the ground. Then here he is dropping the plumb bob, right? Plumb bob you people have already seen during your construction of the house or anything. There is one instrument where is one bell shape, some weight has been attached there, that is called plumb bob. So up to this point he has to drop the plumb bob on the ground. So one point has been selected. So now first thing is done there, then the follower has to shift here, again leader is moving forward, and again he is dropping plumb bob, and again he is lead forward, plumb bob, then again forward, plumb bob, and he is reaching to the final point, right? So as I told you, the length of the stretch of this step is not necessary to be equal. It is totally depend upon the slope or the convenient, right? So have you seen that this is a step kind of condition has been created there. So stepping method, that's why it is called a stepping method. Now what you have to do, so you just look at this image, or this image you can easily understand that. So this is L1, this horizontal distance, L2, L3. Now we are reaching from station A to station B, that is the measurement point we have. So now we have to add L1, L2 and L3. You have to look at there, D, L, AB is L1 plus L2 plus L3, right? So this is the horizontal equivalent of this sloping length. Is it clear to all of you? That is the direct method, right, on chaining on sloping ground. Is it clear to all of you? The concept is clear, or if any doubt, first you ask a doubt. So now this direct method or stepping method has been discussed, and it is also understood clearly. So now we move to this the second method, that is indirect method. This is another one, the same example for this direct stepping method. On some three-dimensional aspect is there that you can easily understand that, right? The same thing is there. So horizontal distance has been there, that has been measured here clearly. Is this clear? So from station A to station B, these are the pegs that can be used. Where we are dropping the plumb bob, we can use the ranging rod, or the intermediate pegs can be used there to mark the position, and then measurement has to be taken, right? So this is just another depiction of the same concept here in a very clear manner. Now indirect method. So here again one thing first you need to understand here, where you are using the stepping method, if the slope is steep. But if the slope is not steep but it is long and delicate, it means there is no extremely steepness is there, but the surface is long. See, in the first case, the stepping methods slope may be like that. But if you are talking about this indirect method, slopes may be like that, right? Not steep, but it is long and delicate. So where you can't use stepping method. Then how is supposed to take the horizontal equivalent then? So there are three methods that has been applicable here, right? By measuring slope with the clinometer, by applying hypotenusal allowance, by knowing the variety of level into the points here. So three methods can be applicable here, and obviously I am going to explain you all these three methods. Clear? So but here the things that you have to understand, as I told you, the slope is long and delicate. This is the only difference with the direct method. Direct method slope is extremely steep. In direct method slope is long and delicate. So there is three method that has been applicable. So you can use any method there, and the things can be simplified, right? So first we start with the clinometer. You know that the clinometer or the Ebony's level is the instrument that has been used to measure the angle, right? So again hypotenusal allowance. So there is one concept of hypotenuse that you have already studied during your Pythagoras theorem, something like that. That has to be used here, and variety of level into the point. So in this third point, I like to discuss some concept obviously, but if you are unable to understand, so you have to wait for one more lesson, that is lesson on the labeling. There is labeling is one instrument that has been used there in the third. So I like to explain you all this aspect there, but if you people are missing some point there, so don't get disturbed when I discussing the labeling. So again I come back to this method to explain to you, right? So now let me discuss the concept to all of you. So first, measuring the slope with a clinometer, right? So what is clinometer? So as you know, that is a graduated semicircular protector. So first let me show you the image. So this is clinometer. Just look at, this is clinometer, right? It is something like a protector, or it's also D, as you people already seen in your compass box, isn't it? Right? So you can easily identify this instrument properly. So it is a graduated semicircular protector, right? And it consists 2 points, as you look at there, P1 and P2, right? Why this 2 point is there? For sighting the things, right? Since we have to use this instrument, so we can use this point to sight the things. Let me show you. I will look at this 2 point to sight the things. I'll come back again this slide, but first let me explain you what is this clinometer. And then we have this one plumb bob is suspended from point O, or with a thread, isn't it? So because this is required to take the or to read the angle, right? Where the angle will be there, that has been read by, because when is when this protector has to be get rotated, or if it gets certain slant, so it has to move, plumb bob has to move, so the angle can be located accordingly, right? So you can easily understand there when the straight edge, this edge is going to be tilted while measuring the angle, so obviously this plumb bob has to rotate itself, and it will show you the angle of the slope. So again you just look at here, isn't it, when it is supposed to rotate, so this is the 0 point, you can say that, and this plumb bob has to rotate like that, so this will be the angle of the slope you can identify, right? So again let me come back to, so you can easily understand the concept now. Clinometer is a graduated semicircular protector. Keep that image in mind. 2 points or 2 pin P1 P2 for sighting the things. A plumb is suspended from point O with a thread. When the straight edge is simply horizontal, the thread passes through 0 degree. When it is going to tilted, so the thread remains vertical but passes through a graduation on the arc which shows the angle of slope here, right? So is it clear about the clinometer? The concept of clinometer is clear? Right, now you understand. Now we have to understand how to use it, right? So just go for this slide, all of you can easily understand that. Let me explain you how the things can be done there. So this is sloping ground. So first fix 2 points C and D that need to be measured, right? 2 points on the sloping ground has been taken, C and D. Now we have to fix two ranging rods, right? Two ranging rods has to be fixed at these 2 points, and then you need to mark point C1 on the ranging rod that has been fixed on C, and the point D, and you have to mark one point D1 on the ranging rod which is fixed on point D. Is it clear? Now you have to fix the clinometer as you look at here at the point C1, and then you have to incline the clinometer gradually till the position where all this C1, just look at here, where the P1, P2, C1 is already fixed there, and D1 are in the same straight line. Have you get that? Again I am repeating. First fix to ranging rod the point C and D, and mark 2 points C1 and D1 on the ranging rod that has been on C and D. Then fix clinometer here in the C. Then you have to incline the clinometer gradually until the points P1, P2 and D1 are in the same straight line. Is it clear? Right? Then if it is going to tilt, then what the things that you look, that at this position the thread on which this plumb bob has been fixed, that will going to show the angle, so here the angle is alpha, angle maybe whatever the name you want to give, you can give it. So angle is alpha, so the slope of the angle of the slope is alpha, right? So through this you are able to get the angle. Now we have to measure the sloping distance. So how the sloping distance can be measured, that you people can easily understand by using the what I am saying, by using the concept of trigonometry, right? If it is alpha and this is slope, and now this is alpha, right? So using the concept of what I am saying, trigonometrical formula. So what the relation between this hypotenuse and base with angle alpha. Any idea what the relation? Anyone know that? So you can easily understand that we can measure this linear length. So name this L1, right, or L. Angle is alpha, and now we have to have a base. So the formula as the trigonometrical aspect or the trigonometry suggests that we can use the formula. For example, this is the B is the base or the length, so B should be L cos alpha. Is it clear to all of you? L cos alpha. So B is the horizontal distance you consider, or the horizontal equivalent of this sloping length. Is it clear to all of you now up to this point? Okay, so again try to understand here, because there are some students who are unable to get the concept. Let me explain you again how to use this clinometer, right? So this is slope. So first we need to take 2 points C and D as per the you can name any A, B, C, D, whatever the name, but here it is C and D. First you have to take 2 points C and D on the sloping ground, right? Then the second stage you have to fix a 2 ranging rod at the point C and D. After placing the ranging rod, mark 1 point C1 on the ranging rod which is fixed on C, and mark 1 point D1 on the ranging rod which is fixed on D, right? Then place the clinometer at this position C1. Is it clear? Then what you have to do, you have to place here, so that this center or the O position has to touch the C1. You have to place like that. Now after placing that, you have to incline the clinometer gradually up to that position where P1, P2 and D1 are in the same straight line. Is it clear? You have to incline the clinometer gradually or carefully until the points P1, P2 and D1 are in the same straight line. So when you will get that position, hold that position, and then at this position the thread of the clinometer, thread means the thread on which this plumb bob has been fixed, the thread of that clinometer will show you the angle which is the angle of the slope of the ground, right? Is it clear? So this is the angle that has been shown here, alpha. Have you get that? So alpha is the angle that has been we can get by using the clinometer here. Now if we have an alpha, now we have to, since we have to find this horizontal distance, so you can give its name D, and the length of the slope, right? Since the length of the slope is there, so you can give the length of the slope L. So and this is 90 degrees, so again you can use that concept of perpendicular triangle by using the trigonometrical ratios, and the relation is cos. So cos alpha, you all know that. What is the formula? Cos alpha, B by H. So B is D, L, so D will be L cos alpha, right? So now it is the equivalent horizontal equivalent of sloping length here, and we have to repeat the same process for the whole slope. Let me show you some more example. For example, if you have a slope like that, right, then how the measurement can be taken? Fine. So first you have to place one ranging rod here, one ranging rod here, right? Then using the clinometer you need to get the angle, right? For example, the angle is A and the slope is L1 and this is D1, right? So by using the clinometer you are able to get the angle. So first you get this D1, so D1 will be L1 cos A, L1 cos A, right? Then we have to come again at this point, then fixed one ranging knot here, then again you have to use the clinometer, get the slope angle, and then again you will get this 90 degree, this angle may be B, and so on. You have to move along the slope. Is it clear to all of you? From base to the top of the slope you can move. You have to do like that because we are using the indirect method for that kind of slope where the slope is gentle, slope is not steep, right? If it is steep, so you can see the 0 point at the top point clearly, but if it is gentle, so obviously you have to follow this method like that. Is it clear now? Okay, now we are moving to another method, applying hypotenusal alliances. That again we need to understand here, right? So before again discussing this concept, both the method has been clearly in your mind, the direct method and this first indirect method in which we are discussing use of clinometer. The concept is clear here. Now we discuss this hypotenusal allowance method, right? So what are the basic things that we have to know here? Just look at here. Now try to understand this concept. Here what you have to do, the slope of ground is first found out by using the clinometer Avenis lever. It means we can use the clinometer here also. Then hypotenusal allowance is then made for each tape length, right? So what is hypotenusal allowance? Let me discuss with you. So let me first get an image. So just look at here. See, this is the slope, right? We are fixing 2 points that need to be measured, A and C, right? These 2 points need to be measured. Fine. So we can get the slope first, alpha, by using the clinometer. That can be easily found. You all understand how to use the clinometer, that has been there. Now we have one chain. We are placing chain along this slope, and we have found that the length of AC is more than the chain length. It means the length of the chain will be at AB, isn't it? It means we are unable to measure this point, this part B to C, right? But since we have selected 2 point A and C, then how we can use the chain here? So hold one point A 0, and this leader has another point of chain at B. Now you just make a arc, right? You people have already know that figure. If you fix one thread here, and we can rotate, like arc can be made there, isn't it? So now we have to make a arc like that. So if arc will be here at the point D, it means AD is also a chain length. Is it clear? AB is one chain, right? AB is one chain. Now from here we are making one arc. The another point of arc is drop at D. So AD, the length of the AD is also one chain. Is it clear? Have you get this point here? Right. Now, and we have already studied when we have discussed the concept of the instrument chain. So there this things has been discussed, that chain has a 100 link, isn't it? This concept is already explained to you. The chain has a 100 link. Now come to the point here. So again, if you look this triangle ACD, it is again a right angle triangle, isn't so? It is right angle triangle is there. So what will be the value of AC? So we know that there is a, so what is the value of AC? So as we can use the concept, again the trigonometrical ratio can be used there. So there is a ratio of hypotenuse and base. So So ratio is cos alpha, as you people already know that. So cos alpha will be AC by AD, right? AC by AD, isn't so? AC by AD, and now we have to reverse it because we have to find this. Oh, sorry, I have made a mistake here. Is a base by A. So cos alpha is base by hypotenuse. It means AD by AC. AD by AC. AD by AC, right? And we have to find this AC. So AC will be AC equal to AD by cos alpha. AD by cos alpha. And again we know the value that 1 by cos alpha is sec alpha, isn't it? So AC is, just look at it, so AC is 100 sec alpha. Have you get the concept here? 100 means this AD is one chain length, and one chain means 100 links. So that's why AC equal to 100 sec alpha links. Since we have 100 links, so we are using the unit as a link. Is it clear up to this point how the AC is equal to 100 sec alpha link? Is it clear? Fine. So now look at here then. Now we have to find, since AB is chain length, we have to find this distance, now BC. So we can write AC equal to AB plus BC, isn't so? We can write it AC equal to AB plus BC, and we have to find this length BC. So BC will be AC minus AB, right? AC minus AB. Is it clear? So through this we are getting this BC equal to AC minus AB. Second calculation, have you understand? Right. Then we have already calculated that AC is 100 sec alpha links. So we can write it here. AC 100 sec alpha links L minus AB. AB is also one chain, so AB will be 100 link. Isn't so? Now we can take this 100 link common, so we will get this formula. So BC is equal to 100 sec alpha minus 1 links. Is it clear? Up to this point, calculation is clear to all of you? Now, so this, the things that we have get that this calculation 100 sec alpha minus 1, this is known as hypotenusal allowance. This is termed as hypotenusal allowance, right? We get that, and we have to follow the same principle until the end of the line that has been surveyed or that has been measured, right? Is it clear? So next chain length will be started from C. It means, or you can simply understand that we have to add this value at the chain, and then we start from C. Then again we do the same, we have to add this hypotenuse allowance in all these measurement by using the chain, right? It means this allowance is made for each tape length if we are using this method of hypotenusal allowance. Is it clear to all of you now? Now the third is knowing the difference of label. Knowing the difference of label, right? So how the difference can be? So there is one instrument, labeling has been used there. So labeling is one of the instrument that can be used to know the difference between 2 points. What is the difference between 2 points, right? And then we can have the calculation or we can measure the horizontal distance accordingly. So let me explain you through the image here. So first to take these 2 points A and B, right? We have to find the, as I told you, by using that instrument labeling, right? We have to find the difference, isn't so? We have to find the difference. As you look at the H1 is the difference between 2 points. Try to understand properly, right? So this is the difference between the 2 point A and B. Okay, but let me explain how the difference can be there. See, you are getting the height of this point from some fixed point, right? That is from 6 point, any fixed point you get the height of this point A, and from other fixed point you are getting the position of point B. So the difference, right? Have you get that? So through this we are able to get the difference. Try to understand again how this difference will be there. We have to find the respective differences, that is H1, H2, H3. So we have a 2 point A and B on sloping ground. So through the labeling instrument, right, we have to find the difference of label. So how the difference of label has been estimated? So that has been estimated from any fixed plane. For example, this is the fixed plane. For example, this is the fixed plane we have, and then we are finding the position A of this and position of B, right? So what is the difference? Obviously this is the difference, isn't it? You can easily understand the difference because this is the position here. So this is the difference between point A and B. Have you get that? Up to this point the thing is clear. Right. So when the difference we have, so again you can use the the same trigonometrical formula, that's Pythagoras formula. People already know that what the Pythagoras formula suggests, that hypotenuse equal to under root, or you can write like that h square equal to P square plus B square. We people know this formula, isn't it? So if we have this, we consider this triangle, this is 90 degree we have. So this is hypotenuse, so this is base, and this is perpendicular. You can say that the h1 height, right? And since we have to find this horizontal distance AB1, isn't it? So horizontal is base, so base will be what? Base is B square equal to H square minus P square. Is it so? H square minus P square, or B equal to under root H square minus P square. Is it so? Up to this point The concept is clear, right? Have you get that? So since this is the horizontal distance AB1, so by using this formula, what is the length of AB1? So AB1 will be equal to under root L1 minus H1 square. Is it so? So this is the things that is written over there. So AB1 equal to under root L1 square minus H1 square. Similarly BC1 L2 square minus H2 square. Similarly CD1 L3 square minus S3 square. Now we have to add all three horizontal distances. We have a horizontal equivalent of this sloping distance or the sloping length. Is it clear to all of you now? The concept is clear? Right? So this all about all these basic concepts related to the chaining of sloping ground has been discussed properly, right? So this is for the session today.